1v1 on Kholodny Ferma Summer. Mr. Yoon versus Cruzz. Mr. Yoon, I believe I've encountered a few times before. Certainly a very skilled player. He's going to be representing U.S. forces this time in the East Base. He's got Rifle Company, Armor Company, and Airborne. So definitely a very solid loadout for this particular map. Americans tend to perform quite well on it, especially against Oster, so things could be very challenging for Cruzz this game, who has brought Festung armor, lightning war, and mobile defense. And I think Cruzz is one of those players that seems to constantly be locked in an internal battle, whether to just adhere to the meta and try your very hardest to win, especially when in a tough situation such as Oster against US forces on this map, or try and do something a little different, a little bit fun, and that is why we always see these kind of weird loadouts from him. I'd be a little bit surprised to see Festung armor. My bet is on one of the other two. I don't know. It's going to be a bit of a toss-up there. He's got 3 grenadiers off the start here. Meanwhile, we've got single rear echelon being purchased here, sent to the munitions, and the other original rear echelon grabbing the points here in the south, and riflemen are making their way straight towards the Oster. Fuel and cutoff, and Cruzz will have to do his best to defend them. He's got a squad in green cover here, and another squad of pioneers making its way across the top, trying to get some territory under control. And he's actually fielding his 3rd squad of grenadiers south. So rather than send all of his squads simply to his fuel and cutoff, he's going to spread out and harass a little bit, try and get some extra resources in from those strategic points, and he will be encountering rear echelons in the south, depending on the usage of volley fire. He may or may not be able to force them away. Here in the north, riflemen will force the pioneers to retreat, taking quite a bit of damage. But we will know Mr. Yoon just lost control of his building somehow. I'm not sure how he let that happen. The grenadiers do make it inside. Riflemen will engage them at close range, and it's a kind of close engagement. Riflemen falling very low very quickly. More riflemen moving up from the north to try to brute force him out of this house, but the grenadiers are engaging somewhat cost effectively, and a machine gun has just been fielded. I'm not sure who's going to win this now. 2 grenadiers left in the house. Riflemen falling a little bit low. They've taken 2 casualties. The grenadiers are very low. I think Cruzz could take this.
Squad, get ready.
Oh, just 1 grenadier left, and he has to get out of there. The rifleman will take up a position inside the house. He just could not risk it. I honestly think if he had just stuck it out, he would have won that. I think his machine gun had a line. He was gonna suppress them. That being said, the machine gun could win this if more riflemen weren't on their way to support, which they are. So it looks like he's going to be forced to make a full retreat. But all in all, probably made the right call there. If he had left the squad in the house, then the supporting riflemen making their way up may have wiped them on retreat. So he got that squad out of there, managed to keep it alive. No squad wipes for Cruzz yet, and he's doing all right for map control, especially considering his harassment in the south is going very well, having forced away both rear echelon troop squads. So it looks like he did not use it. What is he doing? This is an interesting technique. I think he's trying to stop retreating to his base from getting his units stuck, I guess. I want to see if that works. Let's see what happens to this rear echelon squad. Oh, look at that. They didn't get stuck. They instantly I don't know. That's just 1 squad. Let's see if it works for like a bunch of squads later in the game. If that works, then that's a fun fact I didn't know that you could do. Interesting. Looks like the engagement up here went as we expected. The supporting riflemen managed to take control of this house, and they will stay inside for the time being. More riflemen making their way up to grab the victory point there, and some grenadiers continue their harassment of the south. We've got lieutenant and rear echelon troops making their way back towards the south to push those grenadiers away, and a AA half-track is in production. We don't see this unit that frequently anymore, even though it is very effective against Oster. A lot of times you want to get that quicker utility car out, but Mr. Yoon's going to go with the AA half-track, and it should serve just as effectively, especially against Oster. It's very powerful. And Cruzz has not teched up yet. He does have Battle Phase 1, but no Tier 2 structure, so he does not have access to the pack just yet. And he's going to have to get that out as soon as possible, but he's still quite a bit of manpower away from being able to do that. In the meantime, we have some S-mines going down on the American cutoff, which he will be able to decapture, but the AA half-track is on its way to push all of this infantry away. And Cruzz will have to inflict as much damage as he can in a very limited time frame. No veterancy on his machine gun. Wow! Almost managed to nail that lieutenant on retreat. Will it go down? Yes, it will! Nice play, planting the S-mines in the lieutenant's retreat path. He gets wiped, and we have grenadiers making a charge for the BAR across red cover. They will recover it, and Cruzz makes a full retreat. Very successful push, decapturing this, wiping a lieutenant, stealing his bar, making it away with no losses. Very nice play by Cruzz. What are they doing? Is he really just sweeping up these mines by just tanking them with rear echelon troops? That's one technique. They are certainly very cheap. And the cutoff will get retaken by the American player, who, in the midst of all this, has also taken control of the entire north. So Cruzz is now probably going to have to bunker down a little bit, try and get control of his own territory back. And we also have this house getting taken by the American player, so Cruzz may start to get a little bit pinned in his base. But Tier 2 is going up now. And he does have the manpower for his first AT gun, so that will probably be hitting the field as soon as he can get it out. And the AA half-track is mobilizing towards the south to take out these grenadiers. They do have a... Ooh, oh no! They're a little clumped! But they round the corner just in time.
Upgrade complete.
Squad's trying to get control of the north back. The AA half-track has moved up to try to deal with them. The pack is about to complete. These grenadiers will be forced away soon. More grenadiers circling around looking for flanking opportunities. And the pack is on the field. He should be able to limit the AA half-track's mobility with that significantly. And riflemen are now taking some of the strategic points here by Cruzz's base as he works on the north.
Of supply are
rear echelons and lieutenant, a fresh lieutenant, interesting. So quite a big manpower expenditure there. It's 300 manpower to replace, only 200 to initially purchase, so that's 500 manpower now that Mr. Yoon has invested into his teching.
Grenade, move! God damn it!
I almost wonder if the lieutenant should be 300 to initially purchase. That would help delay the initial utility car, make that early game resource and tech advantage for the Americans a little bit less stark. Good God, Cruzz, what was that? He just suicided a massive amount of squads into that autocannon. He has 10 kills now. And the pack just showed itself to riflemen, so the AA half-track is now aware of its presence and will reposition to a slightly more safe position, and a full squad of grenadiers did get wiped there on retreat. Not the best move there.
Ground's ours, now spread out. Ground 42! Squad, watch the flank! Standing by! Maneuver and fire! Maneuver and fire!
Grenadiers reporting objective captured.
Looks like we're going in.
LMG being upgraded on this paratrooper squad, which is making its way through the north. We've also got these rear echelon troops kind of just hanging out. Riflemen in the house. We've got riflemen down here trying to keep Cruzz locked into his base. These pioneers trying to harass are going to get shut down by those riflemen easily. We do have medic bunker constructed in the base. Cruzz will have access to healing. 3 grenadier squads remain out of an initial 5? 4? I can't remember. I think there's only been 1 squad wipe, but I could be mistaken. This army does seem a little small right now. We've also got Panzer Grenadiers making their way onto the field. We're going to try and make those work, as he is at a big munitions disadvantage and cannot afford to upgrade further Grenadiers with LMGs at this time, so Panzer Grenadiers are going to have to suffice. The pack continues to face here towards the north. The AA half-track is also here in the north with LMG paratroopers. Those Grenadiers are going to probably be in a bit of danger once those LMGs start firing. Meanwhile, this house remains uncontested. This house remains uncontested. And Cruzz is struggling, really struggling at this point. Ambulance in production from the American player, and the map control is so strong. The victory point bleed will begin. Cruzz held out this long, but now that he's triple capped, it's going to start draining very quickly. Rifle grenade goes onto that house. There's nobody inside. And that's munitions he can't really afford to waste. Interesting, he didn't right-click the building from inside the fog of war. You can actually tell if there's a squad inside just by right-clicking on it from inside the fog of war. I guess Cruzz either doesn't know that or chooses not to utilize it. This house is now very, very damaged. Nice positioning on the MG, protecting his flank. Grenade goes out, takes out 2 of them, but he should win that engagement. They are forced away. The AA half-track is not participating in the engagement. Cruzz making a little bit of a breakthrough here, and he's purchased himself a mortar, which he is probably going to utilize to try to prevent his opponent from camping buildings any further. And we could see that paratrooper squad go down. Look at that! Nice play by those Panzer Grenadiers. They stuck around way too long in that machine gun's arc of fire. These infantry made their way through this flanking zone to take them out on retreat, and that is another squad wipe for Cruzz, again, despite his terrible situation. And that is exactly the kind of thing he needs to keep doing to bring himself back into this game. Pioneers have to retreat. Grenadiers here very low, may take up a position in this house. The pack has moved up to try to force away the AA half-track again, should it show itself. And the mortar is firing on the lieutenant in the green cover. Those Pioneers retreating are going to be in danger, as there are riflemen in the retreat path, something Cruzz has to be very aware of. But fortunately, rather than try to secure any squad wipes, they're going for the cutoff. Nice spacing of the MG to force away that rifle squad on the cutoff. Meanwhile, the AA half-track is dancing around looking for opportunities. These infantry are still suppressed, but all of Cruzz's infantry has made its way forward to try to secure another squad wipe here, but couldn't quite make that happen. And the pack's facing is currently a little bit suboptimal. Most of its arc fire is looking at this fence. Has very limited window of opportunity to fire on an enemy vehicle should it show itself, but the AA half-track is fortunately playing very, very defensively. Waiting, I think, for this Sherman to arrive before it makes any big plays. And Cruzz is finally going to try to retake control of this building. Rear echelons take a lot of damage here. I'm not sure if they're going to escape. Barely get away. Slightly different positioning of that LMG could have wiped that squad, but all of Cruzz's infantry will be forced away by this American blob here any second. He's not retreating though. There's no way he can win this. He should really pull back and heal. Only 1 man remaining on this squad. Panzer Grenadiers retreating. Do not lose that LMG. Run! Barely makes it away. Very close call. Oh, jeez. Lieutenant will be forced away by the mortar. The mortar proving to be a pretty weak return on investment so far. Only 1 kill. Hopefully over time it will start to pay off. Meanwhile, Cruzz has lost all map control. Some of the squad wipes he's gotten required him to overextend a little bit, and he's had to make a full retreat. But look at this, we're going to see mobile defense. Okay, very, very interesting choice. Mobile defense being chosen for a quick Puma, and in conjunction with the 2 packs should be quite effective. A Puma with a Panzerfaust is actually quite potent against American armor. You nail the Sherman with the Panzerfaust first, and then just kite it to death using the Puma, staying always just outside of its maximum range as it's backing away to try to get repairs off. The only problem, of course, is repair critical from the American player. You can simply repair the engine damage and then escape. But the Puma can put a lot of pressure on American tanks with the power of the Oster. Panzerfaust, something that Overcommander West does not have access to quite as easily. Not without picking a commander to get that. Rear echelons defending this building. We've got some play here by Cruzz to try to hold the center victory point now a little bit more securely with machine gun support, and Grenadiers taking it as the rest of his forces make their way towards the north. The Puma trying to nail that AA half-track was not successful. Instead, it will just force these infantry to retreat. The pack here is making its way towards the center munitions. The other pack looks like it's also doing that. Puma is getting very aggressive now. He knows his opponent has no M20 mines as he went straight for AA half-track and never purchased an M20. And the Sherman is about to show itself here in the center. No AT available right now. The two packs have both noticed it and are making their way over to support now. But it has armor-piercing rounds equipped at the moment, so nothing too devastating yet. Although they are dangerously clumped. They need to spread out. They could die to one armor-piercing round, honestly. Rifle grenade goes out, does not connect. Nice dodge by that lieutenant, but the squad inside the building just got wiped, and it was a rifle squad. I didn't even notice that happening. I think the mortar might have taken that out somehow. Yeah, probably. I think Grenadiers finish it off. So, that was a bit of a mistake there, but Mr. Yoon just leaving that squad in there to die. And we've got the Sherman fully repaired, or actually hasn't taken damage yet, making its way towards the north. And it is upgraded with a 50 cal, and a huge force making a push for the north right now. Very, very light forces here in the south, just a rear echelon troop squad and the major ambulance. That squad takes a nasty grenade from those Grenadiers, I think? Yes, rifle grenade, and they'll be forced to retreat back to the major retreat point. These infantry probably going to get pushed back soon, though. The Puma's moving up to try to take a shot at the AA half-track, misses its first shot. LMG battle, M19 versus M19. Puma needs to be careful with that Sherman right there. He is carefully maneuvering it outside of the Sherman's maximum range. Nice positioning on the packs if that Sherman gets too aggressive. Wow, look at that burst of damage. Be careful with that Puma, though. Oh, he's popping smoke. He really wants to finish the job here. The Sherman could take him out, though. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Oh, no. Oh, it misses its shot, and the LMGs on the paratroopers take it out. Oh, too aggressive. Too aggressive with the Puma. He should have played it safe. He had no need to just dive in there like that, but he really wanted to take out that Sherman. What a shame losing that Puma that way. That's going to hurt his anti-tank capability, and he has now fielded a command tank to try to deal with some of these infantry. The command tank performs actually quite well against paratroopers and riflemen. But right now this terrain is not helping his cause. Thank you for the follow, AlbayTR. I appreciate it very much. Grenade goes off here. Doesn't look like anything too serious happened. Big aggression here from Cruzz. He's banking on the fact that that Sherman is still awaiting repairs. Currently, I don't know where it is. There it is. It's about full. It's going to be able to move up to deal with this situation now. And a second Sherman is in production, but everything at the major's retreat point has to retreat back fully to the base. Now look at this. Look at this barbed wire. I think this works. This totally works. Look at that. Okay, one squad is stuck. But it almost totally works. I'm definitely going to adopt this. This is new for me. Engine damage on the Panzer IV from something. A rifleman squad, I guess? Pretty sure that's what that was.
Pioneers ready for anything! The enemy is attempting to steal.
I wonder if you can do the same thing on an OKW truck. If you build barbed wire right next to your truck, can you get, can you fix that getting stuck too? I don't know. This is kind of fun and exciting discovery. I don't discover something new very frequently in my casts, but I did in this one. MG42 suppressing some of these guys. Kind of just blobbing out of the base. These two squads managed to circle around. There are two packs set up still here, so any overly aggressive charge with Sherman into that arc of fire is very dangerous. Oh no, what was that? That was the Grenadier squad with the stolen LMG! It is on the ground now. He could try to recover that. Putting them in that house at all was a very risky move, and he got punished for it. He's fielded some Ostruppen, trying to retake territory with those. They aren't really very combat capable, but he should be able to at least crew team weapons, recover dropped weapons. He does manage to recover the M1919. Nice recovery. And the mortar has 9 kills now, as the vet 2, so it's not doing poorly at all. And if he can get some nice mortars off on a forward retreat point, for example, that'll definitely help bring him back into this game. Ostrup and fire on the AA half-track, destroying its engine. The crew will get out to repair that. And we have riflemen making their way to take some territory here in the north. The Panzer Command Tank is firing. And the command tank will be forced away by a Sherman here, which does have armor-piercing rounds equipped. Pioneer here trying to engage these riflemen, and they're falling very low. There it is! Finally, that command tank gets its first squad wipe, I think. It has 9 kills. I'm pretty sure that's the first squad wipe. So rifleman squad down, and the American player is very low on infantry at this point. Thank you again for following Casper 17. And Kyle Akira. Wow, they're really rolling in today. Awesome. Panzer Command Tank going in hard on that AA half-track. Oh, he's gonna disengage! Oh, the long shot connects! Wow, it didn't do as much damage as I thought it would. Okay. I thought it was gonna go down. Panzer Command Tank does very little damage, but it does have that high rate of fire. This Sherman is in a dangerous location, though. Look at that aggressive Puma. Command Tank going for the AA half-track and takes it out. The Puma getting very aggressive here. The pack is in position to fire on it over the cliff. Not sure what's going to happen here. There it is. The second Sherman goes down. There's massive smoke everywhere, making things very confusing, but the American player will lose 2 vehicles, and Cruzz will lose nothing. Highly successful push. Meanwhile, the American player makes a counterattack here in the center, but it's not going very well, as the LMGs on this Grenadier squad, we have an M1919 and an LMG-42. Very dangerous place for those lieutenants to be standing. And they will be forced to make full retreat. Nothing accomplished here in the middle by those American infantry. Huge push by Cruzz here on the American base. 2 vehicles going down. We now have a 3rd Sherman in production, the second one being repaired. The first one's been destroyed. And Cruzz's map control is looking better than ever. Very secure hold on the entire north thanks to his Ostrupen. And he will hopefully get some victory points under his control and stop this bleed. He's got 130 remaining, which is plenty of time, but he needs to make sure to get those under control and not make any big mistakes that are going to lose him this game. Oh, here comes the P-47. He's going to need to be very careful with those tanks that are falling low. But fortunately, the second plane there targeted the Puma by the looks of it, and the command tank should be able to get clear of the strike zone. No huge disasters here, and everything should be fine. Thanks for the follow, Theoi Ozo. And Major Bloodknock. Oh, hey! Code2.org's favorite moderator. Big push by these Shermans. Or that Sherman. Trying to pull off a flank on that pack, but he had armor-piercing rounds equipped for that. Strange decision. P-47 targeting the Puma, which is actually in the strike zone. I guess it must have been. It looked like it. I don't remember where the strike zone was exactly, but I guess so. Faust connecting with that Sherman. The Puma is really low. Cruzz is just dancing with death here, but this is going to be that scary Faust plus Puma combo I was talking about earlier. Oh no! Oh! Dodge those P-47s. Wow! He was really playing that one close to the chest. Sometimes I just cannot believe Cruzz's aggression. He really wants to take out that tank. Yeah, he will do so by any means necessary, even if it means sending a Puma with no health into a P-47 strike zone and accomplishing that thing. Sherman in the south here getting repairs here on the munitions point. Mortar's up to 12 kills. Vet 2 still doing pretty well. Needs to keep up the aggression with that thing, though. These squads here in the north trying to get some territory back under control. It's not looking good for Mr. Yoon. He cannot afford any more losses. The Puma versus Sherman scale is really on a razor's edge. You need to make sure you pull ahead in that production war. The difference here is that Cruzz has 2 AT guns helping him out. No, long shot connects. Puma could go in deep here. Nothing available to support except an anti-tank rifle grenade. Puma shot misses against the Sherman, and the Sherman gets to safety. But there's not much here that can follow up on that damaged engine Puma. I'm sure he's wishing that there was, but his other Sherman is busy in the south. If he doesn't keep both of his Shermans in the same location, he's not going to be able to capitalize on opportunities like these. Such a waste. Damaging a Puma's engine should be a dead Puma if at all possible. In this case, it's not. We've also got 2 packs here available to support. Can't do anything too crazy, I guess. And a second Puma is making its way to the front lines. All of this infantry is going to get forced away by the command tank Panzer Grenadiers. Pumas, it's just too much. LMGs stand no chance. Meanwhile, here, nice play by the Sherman. Very light anti-tank presence here, and he will force that machine gun away. He's not going to chase it too deep, and he's switching back to armor-piercing rounds now. These rear echelon troops are going to grab the center victory point, and the bleed for Cruzz is about to start continuing. He really needs to get those under control. He's going to fall below 100 quite soon. He can't hold these VPs. Panzer Grenadiers grabbing the north. Command tank forces away the rear echelons there in the center, so he will stop the bleed. Not too bad. Not anything catastrophic. He can afford this. Still has plenty of time. Rifle grenade forces away these infantry here, and the command tank and Pumas are getting pretty aggressive again. Very aggressive. Looks like he's going to make a big play for the American cutoff, force the American player to counterattack and hopefully lose all of his tanks in the process. If we take a look at vehicles, we will see 2 Shermans against 2 Pumas. If we look at fuel, we will see 180 for Mr. Yoon. Could get himself a Jackson, maybe. Kind of risky, but helpful if you can keep a position nicely. He's got 2 Shermans to screen for, and he could get himself just more Shermans. Sherman spam is, of course, perfectly effective against mobile defense as long as you can outproduce your opponent and outplay him, which Mr. Yoon is currently struggling to do. That being said, he does have access to the P-47, which is kind of U.S. forces ace in the hole against these vehicles. If he were to coordinate a P-47 strike with his next big push with the Shermans and possibly a 3rd vehicle of some kind, you could definitely see the American player make a big push. But it's going to come down to exactly how they both micro their vehicles, and RNG, of course, will be a huge factor in a big push as well. But currently Mr. Yoon is just kind of dancing around, looking for opportunities, probing a little bit, not overcommitting himself at all. And paratroopers are doing what they can to take control of some territory here. Nice harassment by Mr. Yoon to at least limit Cruzz's income if he can't really do anything of his own. And it looks like Mr. Yoon is going to go with Jackson. He's going to need to be very careful with it. With 2 Pumas on the field and 2 packs, even the slightest slip up will be a dead Jackson. So he needs to be very careful with that. The exact same thing can be said of his Shermans. All of his units paper thin, and the exact same thing can be said of Cruzz's units. Puma, paper thin. Command tank, paper thin. Every single unit on the field right now could die in a heartbeat. It comes down to exactly how precisely they will micro their units. Both of them playing a very micro-intensive strategy here. We've got mines going down up here. Uh-oh, Sherman just caught a Puma very, very out of position. Shots are connecting. Puma has been brought down to well below half thanks to the 50 cal upgrade on that Sherman. Shot. Oh, nice Tellermine! The Tellermine bait is perfect, and the Sherman goes down. Puma gets away with a sliver of health remaining. Perfectly played by Cruzz. Very nuanced bait for sure, but this Sherman is not about to let Cruzz get away clean. No chance at all of smoke being deployed there, and the Puma will go down. So even trade all in all. 1 Sherman for 1 Puma. And the engagement continues. Nice Jackson placement. The packs are moving up to respond, but that Jackson shot may be all that is required to eliminate that command tank. It is trying to get clear. P-47 is on target, but it's not enough. It escapes with the tiniest sliver of health. What is that Jackson doing? Oh no, it could have gotten away so clean. I don't know why it drove right back into those 2 packs. That being said, the Sherman has caught this Puma out of position. The P-47 follows up and takes it out. The command tank has gone deep into the base, but the Sherman will pursue. Cruzz has no Pumas. He could field one. He does have the fuel, but I don't think he's going to do it. He doesn't know where the command tank is, and I think he's going to disengage. No, re-engaging, circling, looking for an opportunity. He will find it, and he will take it out. But a fresh Puma has been fielded, but rather than go in hard, is going to go way around the edges here. Meanwhile, another engagement is going on here in the center, and it's not going well for Mr. Yoon, who appears to be losing just about all of his infantry to a machine gun and some Ausstruppen, but more riflemen are moving up on this machine gun's flank. This engagement continues. The command tank has been destroyed, and the Sherman will re-engage this Puma, which was trying to kite. Doesn't look too good for Cruzz right now. That P-47 strike zone also needs to be kept in mind. If he gets into the wrong location, it will go down for sure. Sherman also falling low. It's going to come down to luck. Sherman takes a shot at infantry in the smoke. I don't know how this is going to go. It'll come down to turret traversal at this point. Puma wants to take a shot. Sherman, here it comes. Gets out of the Sherman's maximum range with the Puma shot. Bounces on Ausstruppen, moving up for a Panzerfaust, but they can't get in range. And I thought Cruzz would disengage, but I could be mistaken. Looks like he will continue to chase. Meanwhile, this engagement here not going well for Cruzz, who just lost a full Ausstruppen squad to those flanking riflemen. He also lost his machine gun, which he neglected to retreat. Just goes to show how focused he is on this Puma. He cannot micro anything else. All of his attention going into that engagement. Oh no, the P-47 strike is not over! Oh, destroyed engine!
Territory.
Oh man, he got a little careless. Drove just right into the edge of that P-47 strike zone. But RNGesus saved his Puma this time. Said, all right, I will give you a destroyed engine crit instead of a dead Puma here. You need it. I know that you need this Puma to win this game. And a second, not second, like what, fifth Puma is now on the field. He's trying to outproduce his opponent, but it is very hard. The Puma Sherman balancing act is so delicate, and they're both doing the absolute best they can to keep their vehicles alive and but try to also inflict maximum possible losses. But I don't know why Mr. Yoon doesn't just keep high explosive rounds on at all times. High explosive rounds will always penetrate the Puma's armor. With their penetration rating of 25, Puma's armor is 25, so it cannot possibly fail to penetrate. No reason not to have that equipped, especially with the command tank dead. Here comes the hyper aggression from the fresh Puma, but with all of this screening infantry, he really can't do anything. Panzerschrecks moving up do take out the stolen pack. This pack will have to pull back a little bit to safety, and the American forces doing what they can to keep Cruzz at bay, and the victory points are about to pull very even here. 200 left for the American player, 100 left for Cruzz. The paratroopers that have been freshly fielded here are going to try to grab control of the center victory point, and that Puma is trying to push them out of the capture circle, but they're just a six-man squad is very difficult to push out of a capture circle. It's going to bring both Pumas up to harass, however, and they will decide to retreat after decapturing the point, and the bleed is on. Cruzz now losing 2 victory points, and really needs to get them back under control. He does have grenadiers here making their way towards the center point. Meanwhile, Ausstruppen doing some harassment of the cutoff but get forced away by the lieutenant, and we've also got paratroopers grabbing this point, vehicle crew grabbing that point. A vehicle crew of all things. I don't even know what vehicle they came from. Maybe the AA half-track or something. Pumas will engage the LMG paratroopers here and force them away very soon. Vehicle crews also not going to be able to make much of a push here, and Cruzz is getting some points back under his control. Stops the clock exactly at 75 as he's got his stolen M1919 squad down here and grabbing that. Makes a very good harassment squad because of course they can fight off just about anything, especially with their rifle grenade. And the Pumas are going to try to engage this lone Sherman. That Puma has to pull back. Very dangerous. And Mr. Yoon still has not paradropped himself any AT guns, which is somewhat surprising. Definitely would help a lot against these Pumas. It would completely shut down their super hyper aggression, and Cruzz loves, as we've seen, to be ridiculously aggressive with these Pumas, chasing till the very last ounce of health with them. And if you were to get an AT gun, punish some of that aggression, you could definitely go a long way towards taking those things out. AT grenade didn't connect for some reason. He was obviously trying to get it off, but he just couldn't do it there for some reason. Repairs going off here on this Puma. Mr. Yoon does not currently have the munitions for a P-47, but he will in several minutes if his current map control situation continues and Cruzz is about to lose victory point control once again. He was not able to hold the south against that lieutenant. Paratroopers here available to assist.
Forces are securing our territory.
And this one is rapidly becoming too close to call. I really don't know what's going to happen. Cruzz desperately needs repairs, though. He's really quite fortunate his opponent cannot field a P-47 at this time. That Puma would be in serious danger. Cruzz continues to be crazy aggressive despite the fact that he's bleeding victory points, making plays for his opponent's cutoff.
Are seizing a sector.
And then being forced to retreat. That Grenadier squad, he's got some Ostruppen making their way here towards the south. Vet 2 against this wounded lieutenant, they will lose, especially with those paratroopers available to support. And this Puma is in pretty good condition. The Vet 2 pack also set up here to cover the center, and a machine gun is positioned on the austere fuel to keep the fuel income up and keep the Pumas coming. 2 Pumas currently going to be doing quite well actually against very light anti-tank from the Americans there, but he does need to be careful. Of course, Sherman is getting aggressive, takes a shot at that Puma, bringing it low, and it will be forced back for repairs, but the Sherman then disengages as these infantry are making their way forward to screen.
We are losing a sector.
That is a Vet 2 Sherman, so that one will be very important to preserve. And the harassing vehicle crew here will be forced away by the machine gun, and the M1919 Grenadiers are going to take control of the munitions here. And both of these players are just dancing back and forth the territory. No big pushes or engagements anywhere, as both of them spread their forces all over the map. It is just a micro nightmare for both of them. No doubting that at all. The Puma will engage the riflemen here. These squads will fire on them in red cover, and the mortar also firing on them will force full retreat from both those squads before they can decapture the victory point. The clock will remain stopped at 52 victory points for Cruzz. He cannot lose map control anymore. He needs to hold on to these victory points for dear life. Repairs continue on this Puma. The Puma, this one, is Vet 2. If he were to get a good target weak point off, who knows what might happen. A second Sherman has been fielded as well, so it is now 2 Shermans, 2 Pumas. Mr. Yoon has 90 fuel, Cruzz has 150. Cruzz may consider getting something a little tougher than a Puma if he decides to tech up. I doubt that he's going to do that. But he might. He's purchased Battle Phase 2, so if he's going to get a support armor core, now's probably the time to do it, unless he's going to go all the way to Tier 4, but that is a resource investment he probably will not be able to afford this game. Things are just way too close for him to be dumping that kind of manpower and fuel into tech upgrades. S-Mine Field goes down on the north VP. Nice purchase there, and force away the paratroopers with good machine gun placement. Grenadiers are available to support as well. Cruzz is very conservative now. His aggression has ceased as he does not want to get punished for being hyper aggressive as he was before. That being said, his opponent will have a P-47 strike extremely soon, and when he does, a big American push is going to be coming. The question is, will Cruzz survive it? Nice S-mine placement, though. Takes out a couple models as they're clumping through the, whatever that is. Ramp. Hill. And this Ostruppen harassment fails yet again. Apparently they picked up a Panzerschreck somewhere. I didn't even realize Cruzz had dropped one. But they did, so only 1 Shrek on this squad. The other squad holding it is now Ostruppen. And putting your Panzerschrecks on the biggest, most durable squad you can is always good, especially when that squad has a Panzerfaust available to it. So that's actually a pretty useful anti-tank weapon he has available to him. But of course, he has to not be on the retreat. More infantry walking into S-mines. Those S-mines are doing great, forcing Mr. Yoon to micro his units more carefully, forcing him to pay attention to things he can't be paying attention to. Those Pumas just found a huge opening on the Vet 2 Sherman. I think it's going to go down. Oh no! Oh, they just rounded the corner. Oh no, out of control, and the Vet 2 Sherman is alive! Will Cruzz continue and try to trade, or will he simply disengage? The P-47 has just been called in. I don't think Cruzz has any choice but to try to pull away. Oh, the Panzerschreck squad does take out the Sherman. Wait, what? That P-47 just killed that Sherman? Did you all see that? What the fuck was that? That was weird. I don't know what just happened there, but it looked like the P-47 just targeted a Sherman. I am confused. P-47 very nearly takes out the Puma there, and the Puma looks like it will get clear of the strike zone, which ends here. I think it'll get clear. No. Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm not sure I believe what I just witnessed. A P-47 killed the Sherman, like, right? That happened, right? Oh, it was abandoned. It was abandoned. Okay. I guess it can target abandoned vehicles? Seems a little weird. Well, that is interesting. We are now going to see, finally, look at that. He did tech. He teched to Battle Phase 3 and purchased a Panzer IV. That will help him a little against these. That'll definitely be more durable than Pumas. Do what it can against these Shermans, but the Vet 2 Sherman surviving that engagement is a serious problem. I think that Mr. Yoon is now poised to outproduce Cruzz, but the victory points are more even than they've ever been. Mr. Yoon now triple capped, bleeding hard, and the Panzer IV moving up to counter-harass in the north well before that Sherman has received full repairs. And we're actually going to see a Jackson now from Mr. Yoon. Questionable decision since his first one obviously performed horribly. That was when 2 packs were on the field. There's now only 1 pack on the field. The other pack has been completely destroyed, and I don't know if Cruzz is going to field another one. And by the look of things, Mr. Yoon has no intention of paradropping one, just going to rely on his tier 4 to take out tanks. So I don't know, it's gonna be dicey. A Vet 2 Sherman is a real problem for Cruzz's infantry, but he sure has a lot of it. There is no shortage of infantry for Cruzz, and I think he could win this game if he can just keep his opponent triple capped a little longer, fight off those that vetted tank and the Jackson, and if he can take out that Jackson, I think that will seal the game for Cruzz. Panzer IV is doing its job admirably here in the north, counter-harassing these infantry, keeping them away from his precious territory. S-mines continue to get planted by Cruzz. He's keeping that munitions count relatively low. And he secures a squad wipe on the rear echelon troops there. Screening infantry here in the center are engaging the Sherman, which has equipped high explosive rounds, but again, 6-man Panzer strike squad will be a little bit difficult for it to deal with, especially since he cannot get into close range to force the retreat with Crush because of the Panzerfaust. Oh, rifle grenade is just a little off target, and that Grenadier squad will not be able to hold the south. American player will get control of the south victory point, or will he? The Panzer IV is moving to counter-harass. Meanwhile, big engagement here in the center. High explosive rounds are equipped. Those squads are so clumped, and he will be forced to make full retreat. He does not even Faust it. 1 Panzer Shrek connects with the Sherman there. Remember, this squad has only 1 Shrek at its disposal, which means that it cannot quite burst that Sherman as hard as it normally would be able to. But the Panzer IV will successfully defend the center. The south has fallen to the lieutenant. 50 points remaining now for both players, and things are closer than they have ever been economically and victory points wise. The only real distinct advantage Cruzz has here is an infantry advantage. He has a ton of infantry. He can be everywhere on the map at all times, but resources are dead even. Victory points are dead even. Territory is dead even, with just a slight advantage to Cruzz. He's now sending a small squad of forces down towards the south to try to get that under control. He's got some heavily wounded team weapons defending the center. A big push by the American player here with all of these bedded paratroopers could easily wipe all of this out. And we've got some light defense being fielded there towards the north. This is a fresh Panzer Shrek squad. They've got 2 Panzer Shreks there. Not that fresh, they've got 3. But it's not the single Shrek squad. Here it comes! Nice burst! The Panzer IV wants to capitalize on this. It's going in. The Jackson rounds the corner here. Panzer IV will disengage to deal with these riflemen, but it's about to take engine damage, and there is a Vet 2 Sherman here. It just loaded armor-piercing rounds. Jackson gets a nice shot off on the rear armor, but it must sacrifice itself to do so. The Sherman shot just bounced. These riflemen having trouble dealing with these Panzer Grenadiers, but they will retreat after taking 2 casualties. Destroyed engine on the Panzer IV, and it continues to take shots on the Sherman. And the top machine gunner will fire on these riflemen as they try to take the victory point. But I don't know, only one of them left. Finally, the Sherman destroys that, and those riflemen are trying to get the victory point under control. Meanwhile, as predicted, huge push by the vetted paratroopers has wiped all the team weapons in the center. The Panzer IV is moving up to try to counter-harass, but there's so much stuff here. Fortunately, no riflemen available to damage the Panzer IV's engine, and the Jackson has been destroyed. A fresh Jackson is being fielded. The stolen pack cannot survive. Here comes the Sherman, but there is a Panzerschreck squad here available to screen, and it will be forced to back away ever so slightly, and the clock will start ticking against Cruzz with only 7 points remaining for the American player. Now the American player has no choice but to make a huge play for the center or south. If he loses this, it will be the end of the game. He has to make something happen with that Vet 2 Sherman, but he is disengaging. What is he thinking? He does not have time for this. He needs to go in and go in hard. His lieutenant is making a play for the south, but there is a Vet 3 LMG squad here available to stop him. Could come down to grenades. Rifle grenade goes out. Oh no! That's the end of that harassment attempt. Meanwhile, in the north, the Panzer IV has caught the Sherman with high explosive rounds equipped. This is all going wrong. The point will get recaptured here in the center. The Panzer IV continues to circle and dance with the Sherman. And I think that's going to be it. The north point is about to get captured by Grenadiers. The Sherman is about to go down. No chance of retaking the center. 3, 2... Sherman goes down 1. And that's the game. GG, Axis wins.